You clean your shower glass. You scrub it. You rinse it. It looks great for about a day. And then that cloudy white film creeps back, the chalky spots, the foggy haze that dulls the whole panel no matter how hard you work at it. Eventually, most people give up entirely and just accept a shower door that's permanently cloudy. Or worse, they attack it with harsher and harsher chemicals and rough scouring pads that seem to help for a moment but quietly make everything worse. Here's the truth almost nobody understands: that white film isn't dirt, and scrubbing harder is exactly the wrong move. In Japan, where the bathroom is treated as a place of daily ritual and calm, and where cleaning is done with patience and precision rather than brute force, there's a completely different way to approach this. One that dissolves the limescale instead of fighting it, and then stops it from ever coming back. This is the Japanese method that removes limescale from your shower glass and keeps it crystal clear. And by the end of this video, you'll understand not just how to clean it once, but why it's been coming back this whole time, and how to end that cycle for good. Let's get into it. First, you have to understand what you're actually fighting, because this single piece of knowledge changes everything. And it's the reason nothing you've tried has worked. That cloudy white film on your glass is not dirt, it's not grime, and it's not soap, at least not entirely. It's limescale, a hard mineral deposit, and understanding where it comes from is the whole key. Your tap water, unless you live in a soft water area, is what's called hard water, meaning it's full of dissolved minerals, mostly calcium and magnesium. Every time you shower, that mineral-rich water splashes across the glass and then sits there and air dries. The water itself evaporates, but the minerals it was carrying can't evaporate, so they're left behind, bonded to the surface as a chalky, whitish crust. That's limescale. And here's why it feels like it comes back instantly. Every single shower deposit's a fresh layer. You're not failing to clean it, you're cleaning it and then immediately coating it again, because the water leaving the deposit behind hasn't changed. This is the first realization that flips the whole problem on its head. You're not dealing with a dirt problem that you can scrub away. You're dealing with a chemistry problem and a water problem, and those need a completely different solution. And there's a second layer to what's actually on your glass, because limescale rarely comes alone. Right alongside those hard mineral deposits is soap scum, which is a different beast entirely. It forms when the soap and body oils in your shower react with the very same minerals in hard water, creating a greasy, waxy film that clings to the glass and, worse, traps the limescale and holds it against the surface. So your cloudy shower door is usually two problems layered together: a mineral crust and a greasy film, each one protecting the other. This is another reason plain scrubbing fails and even plain water fails. Water can't cut grease, and scrubbing can't dissolve minerals, so you need something that tackles both at once. Keep this in mind, because the method that's coming is built specifically to break down both layers together, which is exactly why it works when everything else hasn't. Now here's the second half of that realization, and it's why scrubbing has been failing you. Because limescale is a mineral crust bonded to the glass, brute force barely touches it. You can scrub for an hour with a sponge and make almost no progress, because you're trying to physically grind off something that's chemically stuck. And when scrubbing doesn't work, people escalate to abrasive pads, steel wool, and harsh scouring powders, and this is where real, permanent damage happens. Those abrasives don't just scratch off the limescale, they scratch the glass itself, leaving microscopic grooves across the surface. And here's the cruel irony. Those tiny scratches give future limescale even more surface to grip onto, so the glass gets cloudy faster and faster the more aggressively you scrub it. So the two things most people instinctively do, scrub harder and use rougher tools, are the two things guaranteed to make the problem permanent. The Japanese approach is the complete opposite. It's gentle, it's patient, and it works with chemistry instead of against it. You don't attack limescale. You dissolve it, and then you make sure it can never form again. Now that you understand the enemy, let's break down exactly how to beat it, step by step. The core of the entire method rests on one simple piece of chemistry, and this is the trick that does 90% of the work. Limescale is alkaline, so a mild acid dissolves it effortlessly. This is the key that unlocks everything. You do not need to scrub limescale off. You need to break the chemical bond, holding it to the glass, and a mild acid does that all on its own while you do nothing. The two best acids for the job are both gentle, cheap, and probably already in your kitchen. White vinegar, which is a weak acid, and citric acid, which you can buy as a simple powder, and which many people find works even better with less smell. When either one meets that alkaline mineral crust, it reacts with it and begins to break it apart, loosening its grip on the glass so it wipes away with almost no effort. This is the difference between fighting the limescale and dissolving it. And if this is already making sense, take a second to hit subscribe, because the exact technique that makes this work is coming up next, and it's the part almost everyone gets wrong. So here's exactly how to do the deep clean, the process that takes a hazy, crusted shower door and makes it clear again. Before you apply anything, give the glass a quick rinse with warm water to wash off any loose grit and dust, so you're not grinding those particles around when you wipe later. This 30-second prep step alone prevents a lot of accidental micro-scratching. Then choose your acid. If you're using white vinegar, warm it slightly first, because chemical reactions speed up with heat and warm vinegar cuts through mineral deposits noticeably faster than cold. If you're using citric acid, dissolve a few spoonfuls in warm water. Either way, and this is a detail worth doing, add a small squirt of dish soap to your solution. Here's why that matters. Your shower glass usually has two problems layered on top of each other: the mineral limescale and a greasy film of soap scum, and the dish soap cuts through the greasy layer while the acid dissolves the mineral one, so you're tackling both at once instead of just half the problem. Now for the single most important part of the whole technique, the step that separates people who succeed from people who give up: contact time. This is where almost everyone fails. They spray vinegar on, wipe it off 10 seconds later, see no change, and conclude it doesn't work. But acid needs time sitting in contact with the minerals to dissolve them, and a quick spray and wipe gives it no chance at all. So you have to keep the surface wet with the acid for 15 to 30 minutes. Just spraying it on isn't enough, because it runs down the vertical glass and dries out in minutes, which does nothing. The professional trick to solve this is the compress method. Soak paper towels or cloths in your warm acid solution and press them flat against the glass so they stick, covering the cloudy areas completely. Now the acid stays in direct, saturated contact with the limescale for the full dwell time instead of dripping away. For light haze, 5 to 15 minutes is plenty. For heavy, crusted buildup, give it the full 30 and re-wet the compress if it starts to dry. This one adjustment, giving the acid real contact time, is what makes the difference between vinegar doesn't work and glass that wipes clean like magic. Once the dwell time is up, peel off the compress and wipe the glass with a soft microfiber cloth, and you'll feel the limescale come away with almost no pressure, because you dissolved it instead of scrubbing it. For any stubborn spots that remain, this is the only time a very gentle abrasive is appropriate, and it has to be the right one: a paste of baking soda and water. Baking soda is a mild enough abrasive that it lifts residue without scratching the glass, unlike steel wool or scouring powder. Apply the paste to the stubborn area, gently rub in small circles with a soft sponge or cloth, and it gives you a little extra mechanical grip to lift what the acid loosened. Some people combine the two by applying the baking soda paste and then misting vinegar over it, creating a gentle fizzing reaction that helps lift ingrained deposits. Work in sections, and never reach for anything harsh or scratchy, no matter how tempting, because gentle and patient always beats aggressive here. Very old, heavy deposits may simply need a second full round of the compress and wipe, and that's normal. 2 gentle passes are far better for your glass than 1 violent one. The final step of the cleaning is the one people rush and shouldn't. Rinse the glass thoroughly and completely with warm water, making sure every trace of the acid is gone. This matters for 2 reasons. First, leftover acid residue can attract new spotting. But more importantly, and this is a safety point we'll come back to, acid left sitting on the metal frame, the hinges, or the rubber and silicone seals of your shower can corrode the metal and degrade the seals over time. So rinse it all off promptly, especially off any metal and any sealant, and never let the acid dwell on those parts the way you do on the glass. Rinse well, and your glass is now clear. But here's the thing. Getting it clean was only half the method, and honestly, the easier half. The part that actually keeps it clear forever is what we're covering next, and it's the part that changes everything. Here's the shift in thinking that separates the Japanese approach from the way most people clean, and it's the real secret of the entire video. You will never win by cleaning limescale off after it forms. You win by preventing it from forming in the first place. Think about what we established at the start. Every single shower deposits a fresh layer of minerals on the glass. So if your entire strategy is to periodically scrub off the accumulated buildup, you are permanently locked in a losing battle against your own water supply. You clean, it rebuilds. You clean again, forever. The Japanese philosophy of the bathroom flips this completely. Instead of one big, aggressive cleaning session every few months, you do a tiny bit of prevention every single day. And that small daily habit means the buildup never happens at all. So the big cleaning session becomes unnecessary. This is prevention over correction, and it is the difference between a shower door you constantly fight and one that simply stays clear on its own. Everything from here is about that prevention, and it's easier than the cleaning ever was. Prevention method number 1, and it's the single most powerful habit of them all: squeegee the glass after every shower. This is the one habit that, all by itself, can keep your glass clear essentially forever, and it takes about 30 seconds. Remember why limescale forms. Mineral-rich water sits on the glass and air dries, leaving the minerals behind. So the entire problem disappears if the water is never allowed to sit and dry there. When you finish your shower, before you step out, take a squeegee and pull the water off the glass in smooth rows, working from top to bottom across the whole panel. You're removing the water, and if there's no water left to evaporate, there are no minerals left behind, and no limescale can form. This is genuinely the difference between a weekly light wipe and a monthly deep scrub. Professionals will tell you that if you do only one thing, this is the one. Keep an inexpensive squeegee hanging right inside the shower where it's impossible to forget. Make it the last thing you do every time, and within a couple of weeks, it's automatic. 30 seconds a day replaces hours of scrubbing a month. That's the whole trade. And it's worth sitting with just how lopsided that trade is, because it's the entire argument for the Japanese preventive approach in a nutshell. The deep clean you did earlier, the compress, the dwell time, the wiping, that's maybe 45 minutes of work. And without prevention, you'd be repeating it every few weeks forever, plus slowly risking permanent etching every time you let buildup sit. The squeegee habit is 30 seconds, and it makes that 45-minute job disappear entirely, possibly for good. There is no cleaning trick in the world that beats simply never letting the mess form, and the squeegee is the purest example of that principle you'll ever find. If you take nothing else from this entire video, take the squeegee. Prevention method number 2. After the squeegee, dry the glass and the frame with a towel or cloth to catch what the squeegee missed. The squeegee removes the bulk of the water, but a quick pass with a dry microfiber cloth or towel gets the corners, the edges, the frame, and the little runs of water the squeegee blade skips. Pay special attention to the bottom edge and the frame where water pools and where limescale and mold love to start. It only adds another 30 seconds, and it means the glass goes from your shower to bone dry, giving minerals absolutely zero opportunity to deposit. Dry glass is clear glass. It's almost that simple. Prevention method number 3. Ventilate the bathroom so everything dries faster and moisture doesn't linger. Part of keeping limescale and mold away is simply not leaving the whole room damp for hours after every shower. Open a window, run the extractor fan, or leave the door open so the humidity clears out and every surface dries quickly. This works alongside the squeegee and towel. The less time any moisture spends sitting on your glass, the less chance minerals have to bond to it. A bathroom that dries out fast is a bathroom where limescale struggles to ever get a foothold. Prevention method number 4. Keep a spray bottle of diluted vinegar or citric acid in the shower and give the glass a quick weekly maintenance mist. This is your light touch backup that stops any faint buildup from ever becoming a hard crust. Once a week, mist the glass with a mild acid solution. Let it sit a couple of minutes, then rinse and squeegee. Because you're catching mineral film while it's still microscopically thin, it wipes away instantly, and it never gets the chance to build into the stubborn crust that needs a 30-minute compress. This weekly 2-minute habit is what keeps you from ever needing another deep clean. Think of it as topping up your prevention rather than repairing damage. By the way, this weekly maintenance mindset is the thread that runs through the entire Japanese approach to the home. And if you want it applied to every room and every surface, the complete method is gathered in the book linked in the description of this video and on the channel. It's there whenever you want it. Prevention method number 5, and this is the upgrade that makes the whole thing almost effortless. Apply a hydrophobic glass coating, a water-repellent sealant, to the clean glass. This is a genuinely powerful trick, and here's the science behind why it works. Glass looks perfectly smooth, but on a microscopic level, its surface is full of tiny pores and ridges, and those pores are exactly where limescale, soap scum, and minerals get in and grip on. A hydrophobic coating is a clear, invisible sealant that fills in those microscopic pores and creates an ultra-smooth surface that repels water. Water can no longer cling and spread across the glass. Instead, it beads up and rolls straight off, taking its minerals with it before they can ever deposit. The result is glass that stays clear with dramatically less effort, because there's nothing for the buildup to hold on to. You apply it to perfectly clean, dry glass, and depending on the product, it lasts anywhere from several months for a consumer spray to years for a professional-grade coating. There are really 2 tiers to choose from. An inexpensive DIY hydrophobic spray that you buff on yourself and reapply every few months, which is affordable and gives immediate results, or a professional, permanently bonded coating applied by a glass specialist that can last for years and is sometimes even applied to shower doors at the factory before you buy them. The DIY spray is the easy entry point and genuinely helps. The professional coating is the low-maintenance gold standard if you want to almost forget limescale exists. Either way, the principle is the same. Fill the pores, repel the water. It's the closest thing there is to making the glass stain-resistant. One important caution, and it's why this comes with a rule. Once you've applied a hydrophobic coating, you must stop using harsh chemicals and acidic cleaners on it, because vinegar, bleach, and abrasives will break the coating down and strip it off. On coated glass, you switch to just water, a squeegee, and gentle care, which is all it needs anyway. Prevention method number 6, the deepest fix of all. If you can, treat the water itself, because hard water is the true root of the entire problem. Every method so far manages the symptom, the minerals landing on your glass, but the ultimate solution is to reduce the minerals in the water before they ever reach the glass. A whole home water softener removes much of the calcium and magnesium from your water supply, which doesn't just save your shower glass, it protects your whole plumbing system, your water heater, your dishwasher and washing machine, all of which get worn down and clogged by hard water over time. A softener is an investment, so it's not for everyone, but if you live with very hard water and you're tired of fighting limescale on every surface in the house, it's the one solution that addresses the true cause rather than the effect. A smaller, cheaper step in the same direction is an inline shower filter, or a filter cartridge rated for limescale reduction, which lowers the mineral load at the shower head itself. Not as complete as a softener, but a real help. And a final small trick for the truly dedicated. A final rinse with distilled or deionized water, which contains no minerals, leaves nothing behind to spot, so it dries perfectly clear. Now, this is the part where this channel is honest with you, because the title says clear forever, and you deserve to know exactly what that does and doesn't mean. Everything in this video will keep your glass genuinely crystal clear for years, but only if you act while the problem is still surface limescale that can be dissolved. Here is the crucial thing almost nobody tells you. If hard water is allowed to sit and dry on glass for months and years, the minerals don't just sit on top of the surface anymore. They slowly etch into the glass itself, physically eating into it and creating a permanent cloudy haze. And once that happens, no cleaner on earth will fix it. Not vinegar, not citric acid, not the strongest commercial descaler. Because at that point, it is no longer a deposit you can dissolve. It's physical damage to the glass, like a scratch. So be honest with yourself about which one you have. If your glass gets dramatically clearer after the acid treatment, you had removable limescale, and you've won. But if it stays cloudy and hazy, even after 2 full rounds of proper dwell time cleaning, you're likely looking at etching, and that's a case where the glass may need professional restoration or, in bad cases, replacement. This is exactly why prevention matters so much. The squeegee habit isn't just about avoiding scrubbing. It's about protecting your glass from permanent, irreversible damage before it ever starts. Catch it early, and this method keeps it perfect. Let it go for years, and even the best method has limits. That's the honest truth, and it's the reason to start the daily habit today rather than next month. There's even a simple way to test which one you're dealing with before you spend an afternoon on it. Run the acid treatment on one small, badly clouded section with full dwell time, and check that patch closely. If it comes clear, the rest will too, so commit to the full job. If that test patch stays hazy, no matter how long the acid sits, you've almost certainly got etching, and you can save yourself the effort and look into restoration or replacement instead of scrubbing at damage that won't move. And now the safety section, which genuinely matters here because we're dealing with acids and chemicals, so please take these seriously. The most important rule of all, and it can save your life: never, ever mix cleaning products. And above all, never mix any acid, that includes vinegar and citric acid, with bleach or with any product containing chlorine or ammonia. Combining acid with bleach releases toxic chlorine gas, which is genuinely dangerous and can send you to the hospital in an enclosed, poorly ventilated space like a bathroom. Use one product at a time, and if you've used a bleach-based cleaner in the shower, rinse it away completely before you bring any acid near it. Second, always ventilate the bathroom while you work. Open a window or run the fan, because even vinegar fumes are unpleasant in a small closed space, and commercial descalers can give off strong fumes. Third, wear gloves if your skin is at all sensitive, since prolonged contact with even mild acids can irritate skin, and definitely wear them with any strong commercial limescale remover. Fourth, protect the surfaces the acid can damage. Rinse it off metal fixtures, hinges, and seals promptly rather than letting it dwell. And if your shower has any natural stone like marble or limestone tile nearby, keep the acid strictly on the glass, because acid will etch and ruin natural stone. Fifth, if you use a strong commercial descaler instead of vinegar, read the instructions completely. Never leave it on longer than directed, and rinse obsessively, because these stronger acids can corrode the very fixtures you're trying to clean. And finally, keep all of these products, especially any hydrophobic coating sprays and commercial descalers, well out of reach of children and pets and stored safely. Respect the chemistry, and this is a completely safe method. Get careless mixing products, and it's not. Please don't skip these. So let's bring the whole system together, because it's genuinely simple once you understand it. First, understand that the white film is limescale, an alkaline mineral deposit, not dirt, so scrubbing won't beat it. To remove it, dissolve it with a mild acid, warm white vinegar, or citric acid with a touch of dish soap. And, this is the key, give it 15 to 30 minutes of real contact time using the compress method, then wipe gently with microfiber and use a baking soda paste only for stubborn spots. Rinse thoroughly, keeping acid off metal and seals. Then, and this is where you actually win, prevent it from ever coming back. Squeegee the glass after every shower, dry it with a towel, ventilate the room, give it a weekly acid mist, seal it with a hydrophobic coating, and if your water is very hard, consider treating the water at the source. Do the cleaning once, and then let the daily 30-second habit do the rest. That's the whole method. Dissolve, don't scrub, and prevent instead of repair. Do that, and your shower glass doesn't just get clean today, it stays crystal clear for years, and you never dread looking at that cloudy door again. And if you want the complete Japanese method, with every trick like this one, for a home that stays effortlessly clean and clear, the full book is linked in the description of this video and on the channel. And if this changed how you see that cloudy shower door, wait until you see what the Japanese method does with the other bathroom nightmare that ruins the whole room, the black mold that creeps into the grout and the silicone seals. In the next video, you'll see how to remove it and stop it from ever coming back without harsh bleach. See you in the next one.